Every correctional institution has its fair share of stories and history. Usually deep-rooted in corporatizing the freedoms of men, these places are the settings for some of the most fascinating and horrific stories. This month, we're going to delve into the two infamous pens on the federal government's Leavenworth, Kansas property, the Castle and the Hothouse. The Castle, an imposing fortress of concrete and steel, is a United States detentional barracks, a federal military maximum security prison established in 1827, completed 1921. Its imposing architecture, often referred to as the Fortress, has housed some of the most notorious criminals in American history. The towering walls, reinforced gates, and watchful guards create an atmosphere of isolation and despair. In 1918, two brothers who were drafted and refused to serve were held here. The guards tried to force them to wear uniforms and enlist, but the brothers wouldn't, and they were consequently beaten and starved to death for it. This incident highlighted the harsh conditions and brutality that inmates faced within the prison walls, where even the most basic human rights were denied. During World War II, there was a prisoner uprising that was quickly squelched. All the men involved were sentenced to hang, but there wasn't enough space in the galley, so 14 men were hung in the elevator shaft. Years later, COs swore they heard the voices of dead men screaming in the elevator, a chilling reminder of the tragic events that took place within the prison. The haunting echoes of their cries served as a constant reminder of the brutality and injustice that had occurred within the walls of the castle. In 1974, a soldier convicted of murder under questionable circumstances was sentenced to 25 years. 3 years into his sentence, James Jones escaped and disappeared for 37 years before he was caught in 2014. His daring escape and subsequent evasion of authorities for decades showcased the challenges of containing inmates within Leavenworth's high-security walls. Jones's disappearance became a symbol of the prison's vulnerability and the determination of some inmates to break free from its clutches. In 1988, David Newman hid out after woodshop detail and used a ladder to get over one of the walls and escape to freedom, but was caught 4 days later in Kansas City, Missouri. His escape highlighted the vulnerabilities of the prison's security measures and the ingenuity of some inmates. Newman's daring escape showed that even the most fortified prisons could be breached with enough determination and resourcefulness. The Hothouse, while not as imposing as the Castle, is still a formidable prison. It is a federal civilian medium security prison that was a maximum security prison until 2005. Despite its lower security level, the Hothouse has housed a number of notorious criminals throughout its history. In 1927, a lifelong burglar and stick-up artist named Basil Banghart started his long and interesting prison escape career by jumping 25 feet from the window washing detail to the outside of the prison. He ran into the nearby marsh and fled, but was caught days later in Montana. Banghart's escape was just one of many attempts by inmates to break free from the confines of Leavenworth. His daring leap from the window washing detail showcased the desperation and determination of some inmates to escape their imprisonment. Other notable former residents include Dillard, Red Morrison, Harlem Gangster, James Whitey, Bulger, Boston Gangster and Fed Informant, George Machine Gun Kelly, famed gangster and hitman, George Bugs Moran, Chicago gangster and Capone rival, John Franzese of the Colombo family, Anthony Corallo of the Lucchese family, Felix Mitchell of the 69 Mob, and Antonio Fernandez of the Latin Kings. These individuals, among others, have contributed to Leavenworth's reputation as a notorious prison with a rich and often dark history. The stories of Leavenworth's two most notorious prisons, the Castle and the Hothouse, are filled with tales of defiance, desperation, and the human spirit's resilience. From the brothers who refused to serve to the daring escapes of hardened criminals, these institutions have witnessed the darkest and most courageous moments of their inmates' lives. For many, Leavenworth is a place where they are confined against their will, surviving behind enemy lines. The prison's walls may have been designed to contain and control, but they have also served as a catalyst for acts of defiance and a testament to the enduring human spirit.